Mm. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for coming today to chat about teaching in Spain. So my name is Lauren, and I'm one of the advisors for CIE Teach Abroad, working on the portfolio in Madrid, Spain. I taught abroad in South Korea after college for a few years, later taught in Thailand and Nepal. Saying that weird, but yeah, anyways. Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Rachel Dietz, and I am a CIE TEFL advisor. I am an alumni of the CIE Teach Abroad program in Madrid myself. I taught there for 2 years. And so I'm very happy to be here today to get to know all you guys.
And Marisol?
Hi, everyone. My name is Marisol Ruiz, and I'm the program assistant for the Spain program. I had the opportunity to teach back in 2020 in South Korea for a year, and I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've all taught abroad, have lots of experience, worked at CIE a while, and we love talking about teaching abroad. So we'll just go through some of our slides and kind of Q&A that we get all the time in all our phone calls. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A tool. There's a Q&A tool and also a chat. So questions should all go in the Q&A. That helps us all stay organized. So in the chat though, can you let me know, have you been to Spain before? You can just type in yes or no.
Lots of yeses today.
Lots of yeses. Yeah. So what we usually see, just based on the past few years, I usually see about a 50-50. Half the people have been to Spain before, fell in love, want to figure out how to stay longer. Some people have never left their home country, and they're really wanting to go have a new experience. So we see people with all different kinds of experiences. Yeah, so really it doesn't matter. We want you to go regardless. It's going to be a really great experience to teach abroad. It really does change your life. So now question I have for you is, why do you want to teach in Spain? If you want to just type for a few seconds, just your answer why. And while we're waiting for your answers, Rachel, why did you want to teach in Spain?
Yeah. So I taught in Spain a year after I graduated from college. And I really wanted to go primarily because I felt like I was losing my Spanish. I was a psychology and Spanish double major. And I really wanted to make sure that I was not losing the Spanish I worked so hard to develop. So that was number one. And number two, I was really kind of confused about where I wanted to take my career. And so I thought I was just like, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to get out of the US just to figure things out. And definitely helped me do that. Teaching in Spain definitely helped to direct my career in a way that I was passionate about, and was one of the best experiences, honestly, professionally, that I've had in my whole life.
Awesome. Yeah, so I see some answers coming in. I love teaching and traveling for the experience, to be immersed in Spanish culture, travel around Europe, keep my Spanish, kind of what you just said, Rachel. Great experience. The last time I was in Spain and I want to go back. And yeah, keep up my Spanish. Yeah, a lot of that, you find people with a lot of similarities when you go abroad. People wanting adventure, wanting to learn or practice their Spanish, just have a really cool experience. Just a quick yes or no. Do you speak Spanish or a little bit of Spanish? Just yes or no in there. Seeing about half and half again. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, so going to Spain, you'll be there for about 10 months or more. A lot of people, actually more than half the teachers who go to Spain with CIEE, they end up renewing for a second year. So it's a great way to immerse yourself in learning the language, and just being able to practice that, because it's hard to do that at home if you're not surrounded by a ton of Spanish speakers. It's not a requirement to know the language to go teach in Spain, but it definitely will help. If you're wanting to go, I recommend trying to learn and practice right now before you go. It will make your life easier day to day, and also knowing a little bit of Spanish will help with the experience, help you connect with your teachers, and just show that you're really trying to put in the effort. So definitely recommend learning. It's not required, like we said, but it definitely will help. Last question for just now is, what was your major in college? Rachel, what was your major in college?
Psychology and Spanish double.
And Marisol, what was yours?
Political science.
Cool. And mine was history. So we see education, Spanish, sociology, anthropology, urban studies, human rights, computer networking, accounting major, Spanish minor. Yep, we see people literally with every single major. So regardless of experience, you might have 30 years teaching experience, or you might be right out of college and you're going into, like, I don't know, the sciences or something, maybe, you know, something on another career path. It doesn't really matter. We just really want people who are excited and willing and wanting to learn and go abroad. Okay, so Marisol, take it away. What do we have with Spain?
So with our program, we do have different things that are included. First of all, we guarantee a placement in the region of Madrid. And what we mean by the region of Madrid, of course, it means the city of Madrid, but also other towns and cities that surround Madrid. Lauren will explain a little bit more about the region later on, but yeah. So you're gonna be working 16 hours a week, meaning that you're gonna have 3-day weekends and you're only working 4 days out of the week. You're gonna get paid 1,000 euros every month. And yeah, there's a lot of support that we provide as well before departure, and a lot of support while you arrive in Spain. So again, some of the things that we include, as I mentioned before, your placement is guaranteed in the region of Madrid. The pre-departure assistance, it's very extensive. So as soon as you're accepted into the program, you're going to be invited to a lot of webinars that are going to help you prepare for when you arrive to Spain. You will be enrolled in health insurance, so you don't have to worry about any copayments, deductibles, or anything like that. You will be having an orientation in Madrid. The hotel is already included for 4 days, and there's going to be some activities that are going to be happening during orientation. And we do have staff in Madrid that are going to help you from the moment you arrive to the moment you finish your contract.
Another thing too that I just think is really cool and will emphasize more is at the orientation, some people go with their friends and some people don't, and they go all by themselves. You will meet so many people through CIEE Teach. You are guaranteed to make new best friends at orientation and before. So just the whole CIEE community is very close-knit. We all, you know, people are helping each other out with housing and figuring things out and becoming friends. So it really is nice to have a whole, not just staff support network, but your peer network as well.
So besides the regular program, we do have other 2 programs that we call immersion. So you can either pick a 2-week immersion or a 4-week immersion. Both programs are great. And basically what it means to do the immersion program is you're going to arrive to Spain early before everyone else. So that's really good because it means you're going to have more time to get adjusted to Spain, meet more people, and kind of have more time to find housing. Some of the things that are included in the immersion program is you're going to be taking Spanish intensive courses. This is going to be based on your level. I guess the way the schedule works, it would be Monday through Friday, about 4 or 5 hours every day. And then you're also going to be living with a host family. So that's going to be helping you a lot to get used to Spanish culture and kind of immerse yourself in Spanish culture. Your host family is going to be able to provide at least 2 meals a day, either breakfast or dinner or lunch and breakfast. We'll talk about the details on the meals later on, but technically you don't have to worry about all your meals, just one, if you decide to do the immersion program. Yeah, so this program is specifically targeted so you can feel more confident about your Spanish skills and you feel very confident and ready to start your teaching assignment when you have to start it. Also, another cool thing about this program is that you get to spend your summer in Spain. And if you want to travel, you have that time to travel a little bit around Spain and outside of the region of Madrid if you wanted to.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it a little more later on with Rachel, but you can also add on the TEFL certificate, the Teaching English as a Foreign Language course, and receive a discount if you're going on our Teach program. So yeah, she'll emphasize that in a few more slides. I do see someone raise their hand. We'll go over questions at the end, or you can also type them in the Q&A, whichever you prefer, but we'll come to that soon. So the job itself, what is the job? You are a language and culture assistant. So you are an assistant in the classroom, not a lead teacher. So there should be another teacher in the classroom with you. You'll be working at bilingual schools around the region of Madrid. And that could be anywhere from like pre-K up through age 17 or 18. In your application, you can put in your placement preferences, meaning like area within Madrid and also the age range, and we'll do our best to match you to your preferences. You'll be teaching a variety of subjects, so it's not just teaching English language, it's teaching everything in the English language. So at the schools, they learn everything in both Spanish and English. It might be science, PE, math, art. So it's kind of cool because there's tons of different options. It'll be you won't get bored. You'll have plenty to do and plenty to teach. And if you are, some people are like, well, how do I teach math? I don't know math. I would be one of those people. And you'll have your lead teacher, you'll have curriculum, you'll have support. So you're not going to be all alone doing this by yourself. You'll have help. The placements, like I said, they're around the region of Madrid. Most placements, if you look at this map, kind of in the central area, most of them are outside of the city center. But everything is accessible by public transportation, metro, bus, train. And we do our best to get you your preferences, but we can't guarantee that you're going to be placed in the very center of Madrid. There's only a few jobs there. We will send our community guide as well. Actually, I will put that in the chat. Just give me a second so you can get an idea. One sec. I'm putting this in the chat so you can read it later. Get an idea of where teachers who are currently in Spain are teaching and working. Everyone's able to, oh yeah, we're talking about housing. So everyone's is responsible for finding their own housing. So you can make the commute what you want. Some people choose to live a 5-minute walk from their school because they don't want to get on public transportation every day and they want to have as much free time as possible. Some people, they will commute an hour to an hour and a half because they have a specific, like, I have to live in the very city center, and I'll be happy commuting because it's a part-time job anyway. And you can spend that time commuting, reading books, listening to podcasts, planning lessons, catching up with friends and family back home. So we'll kind of go over that more as the months goes on like how to make the best of commuting and what that looks like. But it's really, really normal in Madrid in general to have longer commutes. Spanish teachers who work in Madrid now, and this is the Spanish teachers, not Americans going over to teach English. They also are commuting. They're sometimes transferring schools every few years and they don't always get a say. So most teachers, they do find housing with friends in the CIEE Facebook group. They find housing or roommates at the in-person orientation. But we also highly, highly recommend finding roommates who are already there and they're Spanish citizens or European, maybe exchange students. We'll provide you with lots of information on the housing process as these months go on. So, we'll give you as many resources so that you can successfully find housing when you're in Madrid. Most CIEE teachers spend about 400 to 550 euros a month on rent in shared apartments. If you're living alone, you're going to have to go with a lot of savings. It's going to be a lot more expensive. You can definitely spend over 550. That'll be easy if you're in downtown and very, very particular about having the fanciest place. But also you can spend under 400 if you're, flexible and willing to live a little bit outside the center. Most CIEE teachers, it takes them about 2 weeks after arrival to find housing. So you'll have a 4-night hotel stay upon arrival. If you're in immersion, you'll have 2 or 4 weeks of extra housing, which is great. Lots of peace of mind in that. But otherwise, we would recommend getting an Airbnb or a hostel, and we'll kind of go over that more. So you can have some temporary housing before you start teaching. We'll go over this more. Well, actually, I'm going to go over everything more as I'm saying a lot. But you have to get a Spanish visa to go to Spain. We guide everyone through the visa process. And that we're kind of starting to look at documents to collect now. And we'll, once you decide you want to apply and go on the program, we'll guide you through this process. Everyone applies for their visa in the summer. We'll have visa webinars, visa guides, and everything, so that you're getting your visa on time to go to Spain. Rachel.
Yeah, so speaking of preparing for teaching in Spain, one of the best ways to prepare for the teaching role itself is to get TEFL certified. So I created this little quiz for folks to take if you are considering getting TEFL certified. Maybe you're on the fence about getting TEFL certified. Maybe you don't know what TEFL certification is going to be right for you. This is a great way to kind of figure out if you're ready to teach in Spain already with your current experience, or if a TEFL certificate, either the 60-hour or the 150-hour course, is right for you. I will say our recommendation is always the 150-hour TEFL certificate, especially for folks who have little to no experience teaching or international job experience. Just because the 150-hour TEFL certificate is the most comprehensive, right? It's going to be starting from scratch in terms of going over, complicated things about English grammar that we as native speakers might not be as familiar with, all the way through things like lesson planning, curriculum development, all things that can help you to build confidence yourself, but also to help you build a meaningful relationship with your co-teachers as well, right? The more, activities and things that you can bring to the classroom, the better, even if you are just a language assistant and assisting in the classroom. So if you have any questions about the TEFL certificate, we highly, highly recommend that folks that are wanting to teach in Spain in the fall, consider getting TEFL certified before the end of May. So now is a perfect time to get started. We have TEFL courses that start every 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll pop my email into the chat. I'm always here to give, personalized advice as someone who has done the Teach Abroad program myself. Advice on how to go about preparing for the teaching role itself. So I'll put my email in now.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Okay. So just a few more slides and we'll start answering questions soon. But when you get to Spain, what happens? You'll have, upon arrival, you'll have an airport pickup, the orientation and hotel stay. That first few days is jam-packed with activities. It's really, really fun. You're going to meet a lot of people. And it's just really fun to have that community immediately upon arriving. Well, I'll put this in the chat, or oops. Look at later. Follow us on Insta. Yeah, because I guess that's not hyperlink. I'm going to add this to the chat. This is a really good example of how orientation was last year, so that you can watch that later and get excited. And then you'll be apartment hunting with your new friends. You'll have the Spanish immersion program if you choose to opt into that. Like I said, that really does give people peace of mind because they're taking Spanish lessons 3 to 4 hours a day. They're living with a host family where, that is your immediate connection in Madrid. And then also just having more time to look for housing. You'll be able to travel, get to know the city, practice your commute. I recommend to everyone practice your commute before the first day of school. You'll have time to set up your bank, work on your residency, which is kind of step 2 of the visa process that you do in Spain. And then also getting some Spanish logistical things done. And then teaching begins on October 1st and it goes through the end of June. Like I said, tons of people renew for a second year. So really, end of June, 2026. So you're ready to teach in Spain for the next few years. And then next, you'll complete your CIEE application. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. my.ciee.org. Open an application to teach in Spain. Get TEFL certified, like Rachel said, starting before the end of May would be ideal for your timeline. Start budgeting and saving. Moving abroad can be expensive. It's good to be aware of your finances before you go, and just being diligent about saving now. You'll make friends in our CIE Facebook group. We recommend learning Spanish. I love Duolingo. I have an almost 900-day streak. I don't know. And then you'll have your pre-departure course, which we enroll everyone in June. That has tons of information that you need to know before you go. And then you'll be invited to about 1 million more webinars from us about the visa process, professionalism in Spain, like how to basically, you're not just like teaching abroad, but you're actually working in a foreign country. So you want to be ready for what to expect. We'll talk about the Madrid placement process. How does housing work? How does insurance work? What to do for pre-departure? We also usually have the US Embassy comes in and speaks. So it's kind of nice to just have tons of preparation. And then we'll communicate with you a lot. You'll definitely be well prepared. So here's a timeline kind of what to expect from now until the time you get to Spain. Apply for the program. Of course, that's step one. The deadline is April 1st. You'll start collecting visa documents. Around late April or early May, you receive your actual placement where you can see where is your school, what age are you teaching, reach out to your school coordinators. June, you can see we have our pre-departure course. You'll apply for your visa in the summer. Later in the summer, you'll have a pre-departure orientation, and then you'll go to Spain and live the dream life. So, I think we're ending there. Oops. Let me go back. I'll keep this timeline up, but now we're here to answer questions. If anyone has anything, you can throw it in the Q&A. Or we might have a quieter group.
I wanted to say something before someone asks questions. So just kind of reminding you that our deadline is coming up on April 1st. So if you're planning on applying to the program, work on all your documents as soon as you can. If you have any issues with the letter of recommendation, you can always send us an email to teach@ciee.org. But yeah, I think that's it for the moment.
Awesome. Here, I'm going to put in the chat questions about the application. Email teach@ciee.org. Awesome. Okay, so I do see some questions coming in. Can you do a semester program or is it a year? The program for fall, which is the one coming up, is a full academic year. The Madrid and the schools and the government, they want you to be there for the full year, just like the students do. They want you for the full year. If you cannot go in the fall, we also do have a January through June option. So you could always apply for January 2025. But one semester is only available starting in January. If you start in the fall, it's expected to stay through the academic year. What age groups are we typically teaching? So it's anywhere from basically infant. I know that sounds very, very young. It's usually like 0 to 3 years old, like kind of very young kids up to 18. In your CIEE application, there'll be 4 categories to choose from. So it's called infantile, primary, secondary, and middle or something. But anyway, there's four age ranges to choose from in your application when you're putting in your placement preferences. Are there other starting dates other than October? Yep. January through June is another option. About how many people are in the program each year? We send hundreds of people. There'll be 500 or 600 people in the fall. Tons of new best friends to be made.
Yeah, if I can speak on the experience as someone who did the program, I did it completely alone. I did not have any friends that wanted to go with me. And so I joined the Facebook group when I was added by CIEE. And actually, I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so we actually had like a meetup of about 15 people in the Minneapolis area. We got beers together before we left, which was kind of cool. So I met a lot of people before I even left. And then, of course, there was so many people at orientation that I met as well and got to network with, and that I was connected with them throughout the entirety of the year. So definitely going through CIE, I think, especially if you're going alone and you're concerned about making friends and like having a community when you're abroad, is a huge benefit. I mean, I think there's just so many people that are in the same boat as you and are also looking to, grow their community as well. So no worries on that end for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely fun seeing people at orientation just be like, oh, hey, you're my new best friend. Let's go apartment hunting together. And those
Yeah.
are things like, some people want to have all the answers laid out immediately, like right now. And we're happy to always answer questions, of course, but you're really not going to know a lot of things. You're not going to know who that new friend is or where you might be living or a lot of stuff, and they will happen. But it's just kind of like, it's going to be an adventure and there's going to be a lot to learn through it. What's the age range of people in the program? I think about 1/3 of the teachers we send are usually like right out of college, 22, 23 years old. And then we have plenty of people in their upper 20s and their 30s. And then each year we get some people in their 40s and 50s as well. The Madrid government will issue visas to you if you're under 59. Do you need a birth certificate as a visa requirement? Nope, but you do need a valid passport. I know a passport photo is part of the application. I will receive my passport well before their departure, but not before the due date of the application. What should I do in this situation? If you are in the process of renewing your passport, in the passport photo section of the application, just put in either like a receipt or sort of like an email or some sort of proof that you have applied for your passport. You can even write it up in a Word document of I applied for my passport on this date and I expect to receive it on this date. If you have not applied for a new passport yet, you have to request an expedited passport now, because we do need your passport data before the end of April, because it's going to be necessary for some of your visa documents that we're preparing for you. Will the visa allow me to do private classes as well in my spare time? Yes. A lot of teachers do private classes to make extra cash on the side. Rachel, you did that as well, right?
Yeah. I actually got asked by a lot of the teachers at my school to give private English classes to their kids at home. So I did that. I also did some research on my own. There's some job boards and things, that you can do your research on. I was kind of marketing myself, being a businesswoman, if you will. And so I found private classes that way, but very easy to find private classes, and I was making another, like, I don't know, 300 to 500 euros a month, just with private classes. But I also was prioritizing private classes quite a bit. So it's up to you on, how much cash you're wanting to make, how many classes you want to have, what your rate is going to be for your private classes, but definitely possible and so much fun too.
Any other questions? We'll wait for a few. Or any thoughts, Rachel or Marisol, that I missed?
I don't know. I feel like my favorite part of the program was the orientation. I feel like orientation is so much fun. I don't know, it's just like a good vibe. You're like in a new place, meeting new people. I loved all the information that was given in those first days. It was just so useful right at the beginning of your stay. And yeah, I'd do the program again if I could.
Yeah, orientation is super fun. It kind of sets the tone for how your year will go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we see no more questions. So of course you can email us at Teach in Spain, TEFL. All the emails are dropped in that chat. And I'll also be sending out this recording probably tomorrow or so. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day and let us know if you have any questions. Bye.
Bye.